Now, before we begin, we'll just pray. Heavenly Father, we just ask you in this moment that you make your word powerful today. That you let everything that happens in this moment forward, let it be powerful, let it be speaking, let it not be about me, but let it be about you. Now, I want you to imagine that it's your birthday. Now, not only is it your birthday, but you've decided that you're going to be moving out of state. So you want to spend time and you want to celebrate, and so you go out to dinner with your friends, right? You go out to dinner with your friends. Not just your friends, you go out to dinner with your closest friends in the whole world. And you're at the restaurant, you're having a grand old time, laughing, oh, and you remember when, and you're reminiscing. And then after some wine, you're feeling real good. Feeling real good. And you say, hey, everybody, dinner's on me. I'm paying. And all your friends, they hoop and they holler, and it's a great night so far. Now, midway, one of your friends, right, pulls you aside and says, hey, I really hate to tell you this, but I have to let you know what's going on. You know your friend Tammy down there? Well, she's been talking all kinds of smack about you. And you know what else? There's more. She wasn't in the bathroom like she said, She was outside and I heard her. She was on the phone with your boyfriend. She was on the phone with your boyfriend and she was making plans to move in with him after you move. It's true. It's true. It's true. I heard it. She's been backstabbing you for months, girl. Oh my gosh, here she comes. Just pretend like I didn't say anything. Oh, hey, Tammy, how's it going? So you kind of watch her down there the rest of dinner. You're staring down there and you're looking and she's laughing and she's talking with all your friends and you're kind of stewing about it, right? And so dinner finishes up and the check comes and all 10 of you are on there and they've already added the 60% gratuities. Now the question I ask you is, do you still pay for Tammy? Or do you rough her up in the parking lot? But Tammy. You see, forgiveness is an interesting thing. You know, it's one thing to forgive somebody. It's another thing to show that person a direct act of kindness and love. I mean, to do something like that is what? It's unexpected. It's unexpected, to say the least. To be humble enough to genuinely show love to someone who has stepped all over you, it takes a great faith, an unexpected thing. So what have you been through this week? What have you been through this week? In case you haven't noticed, I'm barefoot. I am barefoot because I want to ask you, what have you been through this week? But what kind of crud have you stepped on and in this week? What is it that you've had to wade and walk through interacting with people? What kind of grime has stuck on you? Are your feet sore, bruised, maybe, from walking through the rocky mess that is your life? Maybe you got a bruised toe because of maybe of a butt kick, who knows? But whatever it is, our feet are tired from walking the steps that are in our life. But clearly, that journey with people, like your journey with people's interactions, especially the people closest with you, it has stuck to you. It's stuck to your feet. You see, emotional confrontations, work arguments, relationship drama, friend nonsense, school pettiness, legal hurdles, all kinds of medical dealings, all these things that occur. They leave you feeling like you've walked over a bridge of burning, broken glass. You see, we all have dirty feet. We all have dirty steps. We all have filthy interactions with people. See, sometimes people bring out the worst in us. Truth be told, sometimes we bring out the worst in people. You see, we all do stuff that we're just not really proud of. All these are just simply glimpses of our worst self and glimpses of other people's worst selves. What's it like? What's it like to have people see that part of you? What's that like? What's it like to interact with the filthiest parts of people? Like anger and malice and deceit and dishonesty. Just to name a few. All of those things, they stick to you, don't they? They stick to your steps like gum on a shoe. You just can't seem to shake it. And when you start to get worn down by other people's junk in your life, whenever you start to feel weary, whenever you start to feel like, man, can I catch a break? How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel like you want to be kind? No. Does it make you feel like you want to pay for Tammy? Heck no. Heck no. In fact, in the face of so many emotional scuffles, you sure enough feel like doing nothing to nobody. Kindness? You want me to walk the extra mile? You want me to show kindness and love? Have you seen my feet, bro? No. I know. I can't walk another step. So what are we going to do with our dirty old feet? A couple weeks ago, we remember Jesus saying, "My hour has not yet come," is what he said. But today, the Passover festival approaches. The book of John tells us that Jesus now knows that his hour had now come. So his time to leave the earth is near, to go back to the Father. You see, this really signifies this marked turn in the story, where Jesus sets his face towards the cross. And like Michaela talked about last week, we have entered into the season of Lent. The story has indeed turned. You see, Lent, much like our lives, is filled with these unbelievable highs and these tear-breaking lows, like spring break and a funeral service. All of those things make up our life. And as we go through the gospel, it's emotionally designed to lead us somewhere. You see, as we go through, it really is an emotional roller coaster. Not just our lives, but the story from now until Easter and Lent. Lent is designed to take you there, to take you to those highs in your life inside you, and to take you to those lows. You want to feel it, because it's designed, just like it was for Jesus, that when we do it, it reveals our true relationship to God. It reveals it. And oh, what a journey it will be, and my, how some filthy feet, too, will be revealed. So now you're probably asking yourself, right, is Pastor John confused today? Like he doesn't know the podium's over there, right? And so you're probably wondering, why am I over here today? Why am I at the communion table? Well, this chapter of John, it begins Jesus' farewell to the apostles, saying, bye, I'm going. And he wants to teach them and tell them things. And Jesus knows that his hour had come, and so he gathers his friends. He says, let's have one last meal together, one last supper, the last supper. And so Jesus, right, he's there with them, and there must be so many emotions, but he begins this Pharaoh conversation by first and foremost referring to love. The word says, the hour had come, and having loved his own in the world, he loved them to the end. He loves them to the end. The actual Greek word is eis telos, which can also mean fully. Fully. He doesn't just love them, his friends. He loves them fully until the end. So, he wants them to know. He wants them just to understand that. He wanted to leave something behind to show them the full extent of his love. Now, after Jesus, he's there and he says, I'm going to the Father. I'm leaving. And I wonder what the apostles thought. I wonder what they expected, okay? He's leaving. Well, how would he leave? How would Jesus leave? What would he leave? You see, the disciples, they were very familiar with the Old Testament. I mean, it was the basis of their faith at the time. And I wonder if they expected a departure much like Elijah's that we were read earlier in the service. Would Jesus depart this world in that same literal blaze of glory? I mean, remembering that story, Elijah, before he gets whirled up to heaven, asks Elisha what gift he wants him to leave behind. What do you want me to leave you? And Elijah says, just let me inherit a double portion of your spirit. And before those chariots of fire come and that fire whisk him up, Elijah leaves behind his mantle. His mantle, which is just the robe that he was wearing when he parted the Jordan River. Elisha, he's like, oh man. And he picks up that robe and he holds it over the river. And lo and behold, he can make waters part with it. He too can. Such power. Oh, the disciples, they know this story all right. They know it. And they're thinking, oh, this is going to be great. They think Jesus is leaving, but he's going to leave us something. He's going to leave us something. If you want to show us how much you love us, Jesus, then let us inherit a double portion of your power. Give us some memento. Give us something with magical properties, a token of our future greatness in the world. Oh, it's going to be great. What's he going to leave? What would Jesus leave? What would he leave? Let's tell the story and find out. So there Jesus is, and he's at the Passover meal, and he's having a last dinner with his friends, and guess what? Tammy is there. For verse 2 tells us that the devil had already gotten to Judas, and that Jesus knew that he was going to betray him. And just like Tammy, Jesus watches Judas down there laughing and talking together with them all. Now Jesus, he decides to shake things up. He tries to turn things on their head. Without warning, he stands up. He starts to take off his robe. He wraps a towel around his waist. Now at this point, the disciples are like, wait, what's going on? What is he doing? What's going on? And Jesus, he then pours water into a basin. And Jesus proceeds around the table on all fours, washing the apostles' dirt-encrusted feet. What unexpected humility and love. What is going on here? You see, during those times, the washing of the feet was a measure of kindness and hospitality. And they offered it to guests who had been like on a long journey on these dusty roads in sandals. But it was done with a slave, by a slave, a woman slave at that. Rarely would pupils, would they wash their teacher's feet. But teachers never, ever washed theirs. So they were probably thinking, what's going on? What is he doing? They must have thought such crazy things. Jesus crawling around the table, carefully and lovingly washing each of their grimy feet, one dirty old toe at a time. Can you imagine? What if you got to heaven, that's the first thing Jesus did, was start washing your feet? How would you feel? Like, it'd be a little uncomfortable, right? Like, why are you down there? You're above me. Get up. I can wash my own feet. He then crawls over to Simon Peter, right? He gets to Peter and he says, Lord, you're not going to wash my feet, are you? No, you're not. He goes, oh, I am. No, you're not. Oh, I am. You don't understand what I'm doing, but yes, I'm going to wash them. Peter says, no, you're not. You are my king. You are not washing my funky feet. You're my king. You're just not going to do it. And Jesus says, oh, yes, I am. And he says, because if you don't let me, then you're not going to have anything to do with me. Peter's like, well, then do my head, do my hands, do my feet, do my legs, you do it all. Suddenly, Peter, who didn't need a washing, suddenly needs all hosing down. Bring it on. You see, Jesus gladly and he humbly does. And when he finishes, Jesus says, do you understand what I have done for you? Do you understand? Now that I, your Lord and your teacher, have washed your feet, so you must wash one another's feet, for you will be blessed. You will be blessed if you do, and because you did. And then, I imagine him standing up after he was through, and I imagine him just throwing a towel on the table. What a shock for the disciples. What a shock for us when Jesus doesn't pass on, this grand mantle of authority, but rather a towel. A towel. A towel. This is what he leaves. Jesus is leaving, and he's leaving us a towel? Like, what gives a towel? Something that is used to dry dishes, wash children. A towel. Wiping tables, it cleans wounds, it cools fever. A dirty towel, it warms aching joints, it swaddles babies, it mops up sweat, blots away tears, and evidently it washes feet. Are you kidding me? They must have thought. The mantle Jesus passes on is a tool for woman's work, they must have thought. This rag of unglamorous service. Are you kidding me? What a show. A towel. He really left a towel. Jesus wanted to leave something that really showed the extent of his love for them. That kind of love that he wants them and us to have for each other. You see, it's not about who's better or more important than who. It's about helping one another. It's about showing unexpected humility and love in the people in your life, even in the face of their filthiest of parts. Jesus is first and foremost calling us to serve, love, and care for one another. Don't be too good. Don't be afraid to get down and dirty when it comes to caring for people. Go. Like Jesus, touch lepers. Do what you must. But go on, get your hands dirty, love them fully, and love them till the end. Look, it's not easy. It's not easy interacting with people's dirt. In fact, it's not easy carrying your own. But the good news is that Jesus is there, stooped at your feet, on all fours, cleaning up our dirt-encrusted lives. You see, he's not too good to clean you, even your filthiest parts. In fact, those are the parts that Jesus finds the most glory in cleaning. He wanted them to realize, and us, that in order to understand what it means to serve somebody, we must first be served. We must receive that unexpected humility and love because it changes you. When people do something like that, get themselves dirty, go to that place with you, it changes you. It changes you. So now, when you go and you do those things, you realize how important it is. Someone did this for me. Let me do this for you. You have the more passion about it. But maybe you're like Peter. Maybe you have this difficulty opening up and allowing yourself to be served, to receive. How many times do you prefer to be in control, to not look like you are in need? Because you don't want to look like you're weak. You don't want to seem vulnerable. So you choose exactly what gifts and what gifts you're not willing to accept in your life from people and from the King. Where does that leave us? You see, sometimes we don't want people to see our feet, right? I know you're all probably nervous as bass down here, But sometimes we don't want people to see our feet. We just don't. We don't want people to see the dirt in our lives, right? You don't want people to see it, so we hide it. We sweep it under the rug, right? So where does that leave you? Filthier than ever. It leaves all of us filthier than ever. So you have to ask yourselves, can you expose your filthiest parts to someone? Can you be vulnerable? Or is that fear of judgment for you just too much? How will you ever let all the grime go unless you allow someone to help take it from you? You see, in learning to serve, we find out what it means to receive. That kind of humility, it can't be taught. Every day of your life, you need to know that you are collecting more and more grime as you interact with people. It sticks all over you. You just can't, think about what's in your heart right now. Think about what it is that you just haven't let go of. Think about what's all over you. In fact, it's stealing your thoughts even as we're here now. Think about that. You just can't forget. can't forget what they did to you. You can't forget all of the things that happened. And everywhere you go, all that dirt that was stirred up with these people, it's sticking to you. It's sticking to your thoughts. It's in your mind. It's in your heart. It's all over you. Maybe there's someone who hurt you deeply and you're just having trouble. Maybe you feel like you've done terrible things in your life. And that you shouldn't be forgiven, or that you shouldn't let it go. Maybe you think this table doesn't go deep enough to wash off that kind of dirt. But I'm here to tell you that it does. It does. Jesus, he crawled on the dirty floor. Jesus crawled on the dirty floor, washing and wiping every apostle. When he gets to Judas, he kept on wiping and washing and serving and caring and loving. In the face of betrayal, Jesus wiped Judas clean. He wiped Judas clean. Jesus paid for Tammy, Jesus paid for Judas, and Jesus paid for all of us, as dirty as we are. As dirty as we are. Jesus is your towel, and that towel is soaked in mercy, and it's soaked in grace. If you don't think that you need to be clean, sometimes you just need to get over yourself. You just need to get over yourself, and don't be afraid of your dirt. Don't be afraid of other people's dirt, and allow yourself to be cleansed. If you don't think that you need to be, I want you to hear this. I had one of these moments like Michaela did last week in preparing for the sermon this week. You see, the commentary that came to me when I was reading it says, you see, at one point during the Last Supper, Jesus announces that one of them will betray him. And all of the disciples, when he says that, all of them, they go, wait, what? You know, it was you know, like it was a bombshell. What do you mean? Is it I, Lord? Is it I? And they went around the table with the ones that were concerned. Is it me, Lord? Is it me? What about me? Is it me? You see, this is what threw me. You see, anytime we ask ourselves this question, is it I, Lord? Is it me? The answer is always yes. Wow. You see, this forgiveness, this towel, this table is for those who have betrayed friends and will do so again. Those who will deny and curse before the night's up, and those who will claim their holy identity not by their filthy behavior, but because of their beloved stooped at their feet, offering unexpected humility and love and grace. Is it I? The answer is always yes. Because we fall short. We fall short. The mantle Jesus left is always that double portion of his grace. You see, the stole that I wear, these stoles, they actually have origins, symbolic origin in the towel and on the yoke over the neck of a beast of burden. It's true. Towel. Jesus left us a towel. John 13 verse 4 says, so he got up from the meal and he took off his outer clothing. It says that he then wrapped a towel around his waist. It says then that he began to pour water into a basin. It says that he then began to wash his disciples' feet. It was that unexpected humility and love. So, I know you're all nervous, aren't you? I need one volunteer today. One volunteer First one up. Come on up. The volunteer, willing to be on the camera as well, so that we can wash your feet. Are you like Peter? You want your head in your hands too? Wash your feet too. How unexpected. In case you missed what she said to me, she said, "Do you want me to wash your feet too?" Didn't even plan for that, but that's the power of the gospel. I certainly didn't expect it to feel in that way. It's an interesting thing that you find yourself like Peter in these moments, but in our life. As we close today in prayer, I just want you to know there is a take-home devotional that's on the table over here. It gives you something to talk about today, some questions you can do as a family, and also every day of the week or something in regards to the scripture from this week that will speak to you. So if you want one, please take one. Let's pray, please. Heavenly Father, I just ask you just to bless this moment. That you bless the people here. That you bless their steps. That you teach them to be open. That you teach them to be vulnerable. And to allow your presence and the people who carry your presence to allow them into their life. For they need it, Father. Let them be open to receive.